Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفثه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى لا سيما المصطفى صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. ثم أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to a new edition of your program Ask Huda. Our contact informations are as follows. The phone numbers beginning with the area code 0020238555248 or 249. The email address is ask@huda.tv. The Facebook page is www.facebook.com/msalahofficial. These contact information should appear on the screen as well as I'm talking. I have a pending question from the last episode. Malik from Iraq. He said, I would like to fast on the 9th and the 10th of Muharram. However, I'll be traveling, and he mentioned that the country that he will be traveling to, they may have a different beginning of the month of Muharram, a different calendar. As we all know that the variation in a day or sometimes two, pertaining the beginning of Ramadan, pertaining, it's very strange. This year I heard also in Eid al-Adha and in Arafah, people have 2 days different. While it's only one moon, it's only one crescent. So in any case, because we discussed the difference of opinions pertaining Wahdatul Matali' versus Ikhtilaful Matali', the unity of the citation, or given each locality or country the right to have their own independent citation. We discussed this before. Now, pertaining fasting on the 10th of Muharram, it's a lot easier because you have the chance to fast a day before and a day after. As it is stated in the hadith, the sound hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, لَإِنْ عِشْتُ مِنْ قَابِلْ لَأَصُومَنَّ التَّاسِعَ مَعَ الْعَاشِرِ. This statement means if I get to live till next year, inshallah, I shall fast on the 9th as well as on the 10th. And the Prophet ﷺ said so because his companion said that Yahud, the Jews, also fast on the 10th. And they dislike to be similar to the Jews in their act of worship. So the Prophet ﷺ said, then I will join the 9th along with the 10th. And the scholars concluded the following order. They said the least with regards to fasting on the 10th of Muharram, or what's known as Ashura, is to fast only on the 10th. Al-Ashir min Muharram. Then a higher degree as far as reward is to fast on the 9th and on the 10th. And much better than all of that, the topmost part is to fast on the 9th, 10th and 11th. So I believe if you're traveling here or there, definitely it will be one of those days. If it is only one day, you follow the local community that you are joining. As we said in Ramadan, likewise, if they have an imam, if it is a Muslim community, if there is a jama'ah that has a leader and they decided to take this opinion or that opinion. Pertaining the virtues of fasting on the 10th of Muharram, because some people, as you know that now some deviant sects have their own satellite TV and channels, they keep propagating some innovations, some illegal activities, and they attribute that to the deen. Islam have nothing to do with that. Islam does not allow that a person should or may hurt himself or others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِكُمْ رَحِيمًا. You're not allowed to hurt yourself, not only others. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لَا ضَرَرَ وَلَا ضِرَارٍ. Harm should not be inflicted nor reciprocated. And that's why committing suicide in Islam is one of the greatest sins and is equivalent to kufr. And there are some serious warnings pertaining taking one's life. No one should say, it's my life, it's my body, I'm free to do whatever I want to do. No, you're not free. Your body, your life, your soul is an amana. Allah entrusted you to look after it, to take care of it. That's why when Allah says, do not drink this because it's harmful, you must avoid it. يُحِلُّ لَهُمُ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَيُحَرِّمُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْخَبَائِثِ. Allah said about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in Surah Tawbah that He shall make lawful everything which is good, and He shall make and consider illegal and unlawful everything which is harmful, which is evil and bad. So people who beat themselves, injure themselves, and they have a stampede, and they kill each other or they kill themselves, celebrating what they believe is a religious commemoration is false, is definitely false. Also, the idea behind the origin of this commemoration or celebration is absolutely false. روى الشيخان البخاري ومسلم عن عائشة رضي الله عنها, the mother of the believers. Of course, they don't like her, and that's why she doesn't like them either. If they do not consider her the mother of the believers, then she is not their mother. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَزْوَاجُهُ أُمَّهَاتُهُمْ. So whoever has a problem with that, he excludes himself from this label. That's in the Quran. Whoever believes that she is not one of the mothers of the believers, and her father was not the greatest companion, then he is not one of the believers. It's as simple as that. Because you should understand that if you have a problem with that, you have a problem with Allah. You have a problem with His statement in the Quran. He said, وَأَزْوَاجُهُ أُمَّهَاتُهُمْ. All the wives of the Prophet ﷺ are our mothers. That's why we call them the mothers of the believers. Aisha radiallahu anha narrated that the Prophet ﷺ used to fast on the 10th of Muharram, even in Jahiliyyah, before he received the Wahy. The Meccan pagans and the Mushrikeen used to fast on the 10th of Muharram, even before Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was born and before he was appointed with the prophethood. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam found them fasting, and he used to fast along with them on that day. The reason behind prescribing fasting on this day is when he reached Al-Madinah and he found the Jews too were fasting on that day. It's like a universal day. He said, why do you guys fast on that day? They said, this is the day on which Allah saved Musa and the believers along with him from the Pharaoh and his hosts, and he drowned the Pharaoh and his soldiers. So the Prophet ﷺ said, نَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِمُوسَى مِنْهُمْ. We have more rights with Musa than them. So he ordered his companions to fast. That's why a great number of the companions and the scholars considered fasting on the 10th of Muharram at this time was obligatory. Then, in the first year after Hijrah, when the Prophet ﷺ received the commandment of fasting during Ramadan, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, that abrogated any obligation pertaining fasting before that. So any fasting other than fasting on the month of Ramadan is mere voluntary. It could be emphatic, highly emphasized by the Prophet ﷺ. It could have great virtues. It could be non-emphatic, but by the end, it is not mandatory. It is not mandatory. We still would like to know the virtues of fasting on the 10th of Muharram. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, صيام يوم عرفة يكفر سنتين وصيام يوم عاشوراء يكفر سنة. Fasting on the day of Arafah expiates the sins of 2 years. It is explained in another hadith, the sins of the past year and a year to come. And fasting on the 10th of Muharram expiates the sins of the past year. We'll shed some more light on this hadith after I take this call. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Hafiz, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. Mute your TV,
Walaikum
please,
salam.
Hafiz. Mute your
Walaikum
TV.
salam wa rahmatullah. I'm sorry, Sheikh?
You need to mute your TV, please.
Okay.
Now.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now it's much better.
Sorry about that.
لا بأس.
My question, Sheikh, I wanted to know about the name Hafizullah. I wanted to know if linguistically it's a correct name, the meaning of it, and whether a Muslim can have that name or not.
Okay. I wouldn't really recommend to even have the name Hafiz. Anyway, it's permissible. But Hafiz means a guardian or a person who's looking after something and he really takes care of it. A guardian, for instance, a protector. Rather, I would say Abd al-Hafiz. Because the true guardian is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as you don't have the alif and the lam in it, it is okay to have the name. But I would prefer to choose a name that begins with the word Abd, the servant of, then you choose any of Allah's beautiful names or attributes. Barakallahu fi. Jazakallahu khair. Muhammad from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
No.
Can you please explain, emphasize a little bit on ikhtilat? We are working in a mixed environment. It's
No.
not like we're mixing too much. I'm single. I'm responsible for myself. It will help me to work, but if I get assignments, my salary will be enough of living comfortably. But of course, if I stay, it will be double. I can live better. I can help poor people more. And of course, we are covered, we are careful, we are taking precautions, we don't sit and chat. And we are old enough to understand these things.
No.
So what will you suggest the best way? Let's say, shall I suffer for a little more less, stay home on as long as I'm breathing?
What is the nature of your work environment?
My work is IT. I'm a specialist, and it's not like daily sitting with guys and being too much.
No.
My office is by myself, and it's a higher level job.
So if your office is by yourself, I don't see where is the free mingling.
No, there is no problem except when we meet, when we see our manager or meet with people
The clients.
in meetings.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. Barakallah feek. Hadr. Inshallah, Muhammad. Sister Faiza, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from United Arab Emirates.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have two questions, Sheikh.
Okay, please.
The first question is, are we allowed to pray in a non-Muslim house? And especially if that house has a dog. Are we allowed to pray in that house?
Okay.
The second question is, the Sunnah fasting is fasting 13th, 14th, and 15th of the Islamic calendar, right?
Yeah.
What about the Monday and Thursday fasting? Is that have to be following the Islamic calendar as well, or that's a regular calendar?
Wait a minute. When you say a day, it doesn't really make any difference whether it's a lunar calendar or a Christian calendar, Gregorian calendar, because basically you're talking about Monday. We have the same name. Thursday, it is the same.
Okay, so it's not a date.
No, it's not a date.
Okay.
But the 3 days the Prophet ﷺ pointed to in the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anh, he referred to 13th, 14th, and the 15th of every lunar month.
Okay.
If the person can, if it is hard to fast on the 3 days, then any other 3 days, because the mission will be accomplished. If the person happened to fast 3 days, any 3 days of the month, but the priority is for those 3 days.
So it could be 3 single days, or does it have to be 3 consecutive days, or it doesn't matter?
Okay, I'll answer you, inshallah.
Thank you.
Abu Safwan from Kuwait. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Okay. Sheikh, last last week I put this question, maybe this is my mistake, I didn't put it to you properly. Actually, this is regarding the last ayah of Nisa, where it is saying that هَلَكَ لَيْسَ لَهُ وَلَدٌ وَلَهُ أُخْتٌ فَلَهَا نِصْفُ مَا تَرَكَ.
أيوة نعم.
My question was, is half is going to the sister and she is alone. There is no one else, neither parents, neither other brother, sister. So half part of the, what we say, the property is going to the sisters. But then what will happen to the other half?
Okay.
I could not understand.
Okay, I got your question. حاضر أبو صفوان بارك الله فيك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Let me finish first the hadith of fasting on the 10th and the reward that the person will get of expiating the sins. This is a general statement, so it does not cover the major sins. The same thing with the day of Arafah. It covers the minor sins. Somebody looked at a woman, somebody made a minor sin. Major sins require an independent tawbah. An independent tawbah. A person who used to drink, a person who used to smoke, a person who was involved in adultery, God forbid. In this case, the person is required to make sincere tawbah in order for that sin to be forgiven. Likewise with Hajj, likewise with the day of Arafah, likewise with following Friday after another, next Friday, because the hadith says, الصلوات الخمس والجمعة إلى الجمعة ورمضان إلى رمضان مكفرات لما بينهن من الذنوب ما اجتنبت الكبائر. As long as you avoid the major sins. So major sins will require an independent tawbah. And let's seize this opportunity. Today is the 6th already. So in a couple of days, inshallah, we'll have the 9th, then 10th and 11th. Make an intention. Inshallah, we will quit whatever sins that we are involved in and make sincere tawbah and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to wash off all our sins. And also utilize this opportunity to gain tremendous amount of reward. How? By sending mass emails on our blogs, on our email list, on our text message via phone, Facebook, Twitter, social network, whatever. Inform everybody about the virtues of fasting on the 10th of Muharram. And instead of getting one reward for you yourself fasting, you can make them 100 or 200 or 1,000 or 2,000 or even 10,000 or 100,000. It depends on how active you will be in this regard. You never know. Maybe you send mass emails to people whom you do not know. Somebody would open a message by accident. Never heard of Ashura. Always knows about Ashura. He portrays it as people beating themselves and bleeding. He says, oh, that's not Islam. It is true. That's not Islam. Have nothing to do with Islam. These guys are not representing Islam. They are representing other religions, but not Islam. So now when you give them the clear picture, the right view pertaining the day of Ashura, and of course Ashura was there before Muhammad ﷺ was born, because these guys claim that it is in a commemoration or celebration of the death and the martyrdom of Al-Hussein. May Allah be pleased with him and his entire family. Of course not. Ashura, as I said in the hadith which was collected by Shaykhain, was observed, it's fasting and it's commemorated even before the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Barakallahu fikum. Sumayya from KSA. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sister Sumayya?
I have two questions.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
The first one, considering the present situation between Israel and Gaza, whenever the Palestinians fire just one or two rockets and they're not militarily established, the Israelites get an excuse that because they are doing it, they have an excuse to attack them back. So what else can the Palestinians do to defend themselves? What alternative will you suggest them? And what advice would you give to the Muslim Ummah? Okay,
Jazakillah khairan, thank you so much. All of that is being discussed on the program dedicated to the current situation in Gaza. It's called Gaza Massacre. We started yesterday and we began it on Ask Huda last Sunday. And inshallah, tomorrow there will be another program, live program, and you can participate by calling in live or sending emails to participate in the program to give suggestions. But as far as Palestinians who are defending themselves, they're doing enough. They're doing what they can do. Now it is our role. I suggested that we should send these horrible pictures and images that I showed some of them last time to the United Nations email address, website, and to the White House, and to the different embassies, to the foreign ministers, particularly in European countries. I believe in many of the Arab countries they would not even care. But we would like to raise the awareness of the situation in Gaza, because here is a problem. The taxpayer people in America, for instance, are being brainwashed. It's a fact. All what they watch all day is Fox News, 700 Club, CNN, and the media which is owned by the Jews and the Zionists. So what do you expect? Would you expect them to say these guys are being oppressed and besieged, they're hungry, they're starving, they don't have homes, they don't have schools, and all of that because of the Zionists? No, they wouldn't say so. That's why we hear President Obama keep saying that Israel has the right to defend itself. Against what? Who is the aggressors? This is the country of those people. These guys are aggressors. United Nations acknowledge them as transgressors and occupiers. It's not their land. Now, today, alhamdulillah, shukla, there was a beautiful move where I've seen the president of the Arab League and many foreign ministers from the Arabic countries and the Arab League have visited Gaza, and they made a collateral effort in order to show solidarity with Gaza. And this action itself is something really amazing. Before, it was not possible. But now, alhamdulillah, shukla, it is happening. And I heard that they're reaching a ceasefire agreement. Of course, after this criminal, Netanyahu and his cabinet have plans of occupying Gaza and massacring people on land. But now they realize, and this is not my statement, I believe it is Washington Post, New York Times, they were saying that in case if this happened, the greatest loser will be Israel itself. They cannot afford it. Why? Because they've seen resistance. They've seen resistance, and a very, very shrewd resistance. At least, if we're going to die anyway, we shouldn't be dying silently. We should make a noise. We should annoy them. We should really show them that we're not dying silently. Rather, yeah, if we die for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we will not die silently. It is time for the whole ummah to have an uprise. It is time for the whole ummah to be active and effective. The social network, we should flood the social networks with these images, with articles, with statements, and show people the reality. As I'm telling you, most of American people, Western people, do not know what's going on. They think that there is a group of terrorists, barbaric people, who are annoying the innocent, peaceful pigeons in Israel. So we need to fetch the human rights resolutions and the United Nations resolutions pertaining to the aggression of Israel in the past, over the past 50 years, and show people the reality. This is an appreciated effort if we can do that, in addition to, of course, making dua. Now I have seen more caravans are going, alhamdulillah, shukla. Today, yesterday, day before, I was told about people putting together some fund in order to send medical supply and generators for power, because they cut off the power for them. Things of this nature, food supply to our brothers and sisters, that will be much appreciated, of course, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and second by our brothers and sisters in Gaza. Last night or this morning before Fajr, when I still had a lecture, an hour before Fajr, I was just imagining that my kids are in their rooms, in their bedrooms, and they were asleep, they were safe and sound, alhamdulillah wa shukrullah, and I was not worried. I was giving my lecture in peace. Then I thought about Palestinians. Then I thought about their children. What kind of suffering they're suffering right now? They cannot go to sleep because they don't know when another strike will take place. F-16 and other advanced weapons, of course, supported by the West in general, paid for fully by American taxpayers. They work very hard in order to support Israel so that they can kill innocent people. We need to share these informations broadly. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Here's my second question.
MashaAllah is still on the line. Go ahead.
Yeah. My second question is it a sunnah for men to cover their head, and will they be rewarded for it? Or was it just the habit of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to cover his head?
You're talking about men. Covering the head for men is not obligatory.
Yes, for men.
Covering the head.
Is it a sunnah, and will they be rewarded for it, or it was just habit of Muhammad ﷺ?
Okay. Barakallahu feek. Jazakillahu khairan. Thank you. Brother Ali from Oman. Assalamu alaikum. Ali, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
To you. It's been long time since we spoke last time.
Barakallahu feek. How are you, brother?
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Sheikh, I've got 3 questions.
Yeah?
First is, we named our grandson Habib Ali. A lot of people, they say it is not good to keep this name.
What was the name again?
Habib Ali.
Habib Ali, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's wrong with the name? Why did they object to it? It is okay to call him Ali, it is okay to call him Habib, and it is okay to give the compound of both Habib Ali.
Habib.
Habib, yeah. Habib means beloved. And Ali...
Not Habib. It is H-A-D-E-E-D. Habib.
Hadid.
Like it is Sunnah Habib.
Hadid means iron. Is this what you mean? Because the word Hadid, there is a whole chapter in the Quran.
Like iron.
So what would you call Hadid Ali?
I don't know, his parents, I think they liked it.
Well, he's your grandson, so you choose a name and you don't know.
I didn't choose the name. His parents, they choose the name.
Okay, tell his parents, your children, whether it's a son or a boy, that Ali will be enough. Okay?
Okay.
And exclude the word Hadid. You know, brothers and sisters, I came across some people because of lack of understanding Arabic. They love the Quran and they want to choose a name from the Quran. Can you imagine somebody would open the Quran and the first word that they will locate and their eyes would fall on, say, this is the name. If somebody calls his daughter Lava, he says, it sounds good. No, it doesn't sound good. Lava is a blazing fire. Please ask about the name of the meaning of the name before you choose a name. When your wife is still pregnant, locate several names in the dictionary and say, I like this name because its meaning. Because as Ibn Qayyim says, Al-asma'u aw'iyatun limusammayatiha. Al-asma'u, names are like vessels for those who have been named after this name. Yani, it would give the person similar traits to the traits that are stemming from the name. When you call somebody Hamza, so he grows up, he becomes, or he tries to become like Hamza, Ali, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and so on. Or a girl, Fatima, Khadija, keep reminding her that you know that you are named after Khadija radiallahu anha, and so on. And when some parents choose a name of a ballet dancer, or an actress, or whatever, likewise, the child keeps asking, what is that name? And was named after whom? So they try to imitate those who bore that name before. May Allah guide us what's best. So Ali is enough, brother Ali. Barakallahu feek.
Now, Sheikh, second question is it permissible in Islam to donate body organ?
Okay.
Let us know if it is mentioned in Quran or if there is any hadith about it.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Third question is,
yeah?
My third question is, one tries to put their children on the right path and provide them with Islamic atmosphere at home as well, but still they go wrong. Is this still a sin for parents?
Okay.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. It has been nice talking to you.
Likewise, it was nice hearing from you, Brother Ali from Oman. Thank you so much. May Allah bless you and your family. And bless the little Ali though. Ali, not Hadid Ali. Abu Rayyan from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi, Sheikh. I have one question.
Yeah?
The question is for a lady at home. They want to do exercise, but they want to watch the videos of the other ladies who are, of course, they're wearing the suits for exercise.
Bad.
Is it allowed?
No.
It's not allowed.
No. Okay? If it is some sort of graphic, yeah. But watching women wearing their exercise suits or training suits, and we all know that it is very much revealing. There is aura for a woman before another woman. It is not only of a woman before men, but before another woman, even if this woman is her sister, mother, or daughter. These are our Islamic traditions and etiquette. Of course, in those they don't mind. They sit naked before each other. They go to the gym and to the locker room, to the shower. La. In Islam, the aura of a woman before another woman should be covered from the navel to the knees. And that means if she's wearing those tight training exercise suits or whatever, that is revealing as well. That is revealing, so it is similar to not covering up entirely. So they should not be watching anything like that. Barakallah feekum. Jazakallah khair. Let's take a short break, and inshallah Azza Jal, in a couple of minutes we'll join you back. Please stay tuned.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose whom He wills subhanahu wa ta'ala for His mercy, for His messengership, for the revelation to be revealed. This is not for the human beings to make that decision. If a person would turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely, truthfully, asking for forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised to forgive. We have as Muslims a duty, and that is to recite the book of Allah, to ponder over the verses, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to act according to the Quran. The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encompasses everything, but who would this mercy will be for? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to all mankind. So the ummah, or the people of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are all mankind since the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam till the day of judgment. Why waste our life without getting to know every verse in the Quran, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us?
Anger and violence have spilled over onto the
escalated into violent clashes between police and protesters
over the government's plan to avoid default.
And we're also hearing of injuries on both.
Journalist Charlie McGrath says the cuts will heap further suffering on ordinary people.
For decades, but the fence needs some
This is a serious and big storm.
Join me as I explore pressing issues facing the Muslim world today. From the one-sided civil war in Syria to the genocide in Burma, from the Arab Spring to the elections in the US, and yes, even the Euro debt crisis in Greece. Honest reporting on a channel you can trust, and I won't leave an issue untouched. Don't miss the Ummah Tonight with me, Malik, on your favorite channel, Huda TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Sister Aisha from Egypt, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ya Sheikh. May I ask you two questions, Sheikh?
Please go ahead.
My first question is that when I was in Saudi Arabia, I was converted to Islam, and then when I was there working, I'm the only one converted to Islam in my family. My family are all Christians, and when I came back to my own country, my father died. Is it allowed for me to visit him in his graveyard to offer a prayer, or it's haram?
Okay.
And my second question is that, I know that if a woman has a monthly period, you are not allowed to touch the Quran. But sometimes I'm reading a book that, in that book, they are mentioning some verses of the Quran. Am I allowed to read that too, or not?
Okay. As far as the second question, because its answer is short and brief, yes, you're allowed to. What's not allowed is to hold the Quran, which is from cover to cover a Quran. Okay? I will answer the first question in the same order I received it, inshallah. Abu Abdul Aziz from Kuwait. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Barakallah fiqh, Abu Abdul Aziz.
Allah khalik. Sheikh, I have two questions. And the first one is very important for me. Sheikh, I took a loan from Islamic Bank in Kuwait like a month or so, 2 months back. No reason. I just took it. I just went there and I just took the loan. I thought of having money in my account in case if I need or something. But I'm not in a need. I don't owe anyone. I have nothing debit. But no, Sheikh, I just made up my mind like a week or so that I wanted to perform Hajj next year, inshallah. So the loan which I took from this Islamic bank, it was, they told me it's according to Sharia and everything. So can I use that money to perform my Hajj? Because my intention was before was not use this money for a Hajj. And the second question is this. I just watched one of the channel, Pakistani channel, and there was one sheikh was telling the people that there is a hadith that there was Sahabas used to, some of the Sahabas, they used to dance around the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is it authentic or is it just a fabrication?
I'm sorry, they used to do what?
They used to dance around him. They used to dance around him or things like this.
Astaghfirullah, of course not. Of course not.
So there is nothing like this?
No, absolutely not. It is not befitting for
because
ordinary people.
What he said that he visited Habshas once I don't know what time, and when he visited them and the people start dancing around him, Rasulullah, he asked them why they are doing this. So he was told that they are happy that you are among them.
This is different. The story of the soldiers of Al-Habasha in the masjid with Aisha radiallahu anha watching is entirely different. The person who told you that the Sahaba used to dance, that's an entirely different story, which I will explain inshaAllah Azza Jal. Okay? Inshallah, hopefully I will get to answer your questions. The loan from the bank. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Abdul Aziz from Nigeria.
How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah, jazakallah khairan. Thank you for asking.
In Nigeria, we have the Sultan, who is the head of the Muslims in the whole of the country.
Okay.
And we do have some challenges on sighting of the moon. So recently, the head of the Islamic, the Sultan got some telescope in order to aid visualization of the moon. And some ulamas in Nigeria are against it. That the traditional way of seeing the moon is by sighting it with our own eyes. And some of them are of the view that if the telescope cannot see it and some other people can view it, then it should be accepted. While some are of the view that if the telescope cannot pick it, then no eyes can pick it.
I agree.
I'm not saying because the traditional way of sighting the moon during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is by sighting it with our own eyes. So they don't want to accept the telescope.
No, of
So
course,
my
if
question now
there were telescopes at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, it would have given them a better access to sight the moon, and they would have used it.
So I wanted to know what the Islamic position of using the telescope. That's my first question.
It is 100% lawful, and we should use a telescope in trying to sight the moon. Because again, if you are in the same location, pay attention to this. If we are in the same location, and somebody with the naked eye say, yeah, I could see the moon. So others try to locate it, they couldn't see it by the naked eye. Then they look at it, they examine it by the telescope, and they cannot locate it, then there is no moon. Then there is no moon, definitely. It was not born. So utilizing the instruments, the advanced instruments, the watch, surgical instruments, driving a car, riding a bike, cooking machines, the blenders, the stove, all of that, Allah have made it easy for us to live an easier life, halal, 100%. Why should we give ourselves a hard time, try to be, I don't want to use the word backwarded, but I would say, if we have the means of achieving our goal in an easier fashion, then we should resort to that. Ya akhi, using the telescope is halal. The microscope to examine the minor images is also halal. The electronic microscope, examining the virus and so on, is also halal. We should utilize that. The Ummah was advanced when our scholars were open-minded, and they encouraged scientists to invent new devices, new machines, and the Ummah were pioneers in this. But when we have some people who, I mean, trust me, Abdul Aziz, I cannot imagine you're asking me whether it's halal or not to use a telescope. But anyway, the answer is yes, halal. Barakallahu feek.
Sorry, my second question is, now with the use of telescope, somebody just asked you, he's going to travel to another country. The first question that one of the guys that asked you that he was going to another country where the sighting of the moon can be different from his country.
No.
It's not good for we Muslims worldwide to come to terms with this latest development so that we can unify this sighting. Is it not Islamically accepted?
Okay. That question, I will answer you in the same order I received it. Insha'Allah Azza Jal. Jazakallah khairan. Abdul Aziz from Nigeria. Sister Muhammad from United Arab Emirates, she's working, she has her own office, but she has to meet some clients or have meetings with the employer or with the senior workers and so on. The question consists of several parts. Number one, the legality and the permissibility of working for women. It is permissible for women to work in Islam. Nobody says it is not permissible, but with conditions. Like men too, they do have conditions. Before they work anywhere, in any place, they have to meet these conditions. The job is halal? Yes. The environment is halal? Yes. The earnings halal? Go ahead, tawakkal ala Allah. For a woman is working in a halal job that suits a woman, then it is permissible. She has to work in order to support her family or help her husband whose income isn't sufficient, it is permissible. Working in a halal job, she's working as a teacher in a school, she is working as a nurse, as a doctor, a gynecologist, as I like to recommend for the sisters to invest in this field, because we need more and more women who are gynecologists and obstetric doctors. That is permissible. Especially female teachers teaching females in girls' school and so on. That we need much. Sister said that she's working as an IT and she has her office. No problem. If those meetings, if you attend those meetings and you're not having a private meeting with an individual behind closed doors, and you're wearing your proper hijab and you're speaking modestly, which of course is very obvious from the way you spoke, then this is halal. Your second question is pertaining, what if you don't need the job? Well, I'm going to ask you another question. If you're well off without the job and you have children, then spend this time in bringing up the children and investing in them. That's your passport to paradise, an easy pass to heaven. And of course, if you spend 8 hours outside, that affects home as well, and affects how you raise your children, because you may resort to having a babysitter or somebody to look after your children or to teach them. Spending this quality time with your children, or if you don't have children, for instance, there are a lot of things to do, such as continuous education, seeking knowledge, whether it's religious knowledge or otherwise, memorizing the Quran, studying for your own self, helping other sisters who have not completed their studies, or after you accomplish some religious knowledge, you can pass it on to other sisters and so on. There's plenty of things that you can do to utilize this time, that if you don't have to work and if you are better off. What's prohibited is the free mingling without dawabit, without the proper guidelines. Men and women sitting together, unnecessarily talking to each other. Women are not wearing proper hijab. Men and women shaking hands and they're not mahram to each other, partying together, going out together. We all know that this is prohibited. Whether you're young, at a marriageable age, younger than that, or old enough, married, or even an older woman. It doesn't really matter. I guess last week and on Tuesday particularly, I spoke in details about the evil effect of being with a woman alone behind closed doors, who's not a mahram of yours, nor is she wife or your wife, for instance. So that should be avoided, and then it is your call, based on the advices I gave earlier, whether you'd like to continue working or not. Faiza from United Arab Emirates, praying in a house of non-Muslims. If they do have a dog, as you said, even if they were Muslims, make sure that you have a janamaz or a prayer rug, because most likely their carpet, the floor is impure. With the dog is licking here, licking there, because the saliva of the dog is definitely impure. So if you have a prayer rug, fine, or otherwise you can postpone your prayer until you're dismissed from their house. As I said, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. But praying in non-Muslim houses who do not have dogs, and you're not facing a cross or a statue, is lawful. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَجُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. I simply can pray anywhere as long as the place is tahir or pure. Fasting the 3 days of every month, on any other days other than 13th, 14th, and 15th, and whether they have to be consecutive or not. If it is 13th, 14th, and 15th, then obviously it's got to be consecutive. But if you fast on any other time, it doesn't really have to be consecutive. Because the purpose and the effective cause of this advice is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, as in Surah Al-An'am, مَنْ جَاءَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ فَلَهُ عَشْرُ أَمْثَالِهَا. One single good deed will be rewarded for 10 good deeds. Will be rewarded 10 times more. Okay? 10 hasanat. So if you fast 3 days, the reward will be for like 30 days. And if you do that on every month, it will be similar to a person who's been fasting throughout the year. And if you do that on every year, then it will be similar to fasting for the whole lifetime of yours. Fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, besides that, is sunnah as well. The Prophet ﷺ has said pertaining Monday that he was born on that day and he likes to give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while on Thursday, this is where every person's deeds are being presented before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They wrap up the audit of every week. And he said, and I like my deeds to be presented before Allah while I'm fasting. I wanted to answer Sister Sumaya and others, but unfortunately we ran out of time once again. Insha'Allah Azza Jal, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us another opportunity to meet you hopefully next week. Until then, brothers and sisters, I leave you in the care of Allah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest.